the coronavirus vaccine, aka the thing you're pretty sure your friend lied to get. Although the vaccine rollout has been going fairly well in the United States, that has not been true everywhere else in the world. But why? Well, let's find out in another episode of Keeping Up with Corona, International Edition. Let's begin with the situation in Europe, the Baskin-Robbins of white people. The continent never really got the pandemic under control, and now it's struggling with vaccinations. While 22% of Americans have gotten at least one shot, in most countries in Europe, that number is only 8%. Honestly, it's been surprising to see Europe struggle so much. I mean, this is Europe, the most sophisticated place on earth. They have Denmark! They should be crushing this, but they're not. And now a controversy over one of their vaccines is only making things worse.
Over in Europe, they are not facing good news. The continent is facing a third wave of the COVID pandemic, as at least 5 countries have now suspended using the AstraZeneca vaccine.
More than a dozen countries have halted the use of the vaccine, including Germany, France, and Italy, as a precautionary measure. But regulators here insist there is no link between the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine and a higher incidence of blood clots. AstraZeneca says a review of 17 million people here in the UK and in Europe who've received the vaccine found less than 40 developed blood clots. In their words, even lower than you'd expect to find in the general population.
Just 37 cases in 17 million vaccinations, leaving many wondering why stop the entire program.
Okay, look, I understand being safe. I totally understand being safe. But at the same time, these blood clots are affecting 0.0002% of people. So you might as well be worried that lightning is going to strike the metal of the needle as you're getting the vaccine. And it's crazy that France, of all the countries, is stopping the vaccine because of health side effects. I mean, their national fruit is the cigarette. So a lot of people do think that Europe is overreacting. And I'll be honest, I think I know what the problem is. It's because European scientists are explaining the side effects in a normal tone of voice. You see, if you want side effects to sound less scary, you got to list them super fast while a fungus dances on our toes. It's also important to remember that not all side effects are the same, right? There are side effects that are more dangerous than the disease that they're fighting. Those are the worst. And then there are side effects that are serious but are worth the risk. And then there are side effects that are just funny, you know, like diarrhea and boners that won't go away. So doctors have to keep that in mind. But let's move on to Africa, the world's biggest country. Because while Europe's vaccines are sitting unused in the back of the fridge, many poorer countries have been waiting a long time to get any vaccines at all.
We are experiencing, Eamon, a massively uneven vaccine rollout across the world. Only one of the top 40 countries in the world for vaccine rollout is in Africa.
Touching down in Nairobi, COVID-19 vaccinations arrive in Kenya for the very first time. Kenya received its initial shipment of just over 1 million doses as part of the COVAX program, an initiative backed by the World Health Organization aimed at reducing vaccine inequality. In addition to Ghana and Kenya, Rwanda, Senegal, and the Ivory Coast are among countries to recently receive low-cost or free vaccines through COVAX, but it comes after a long wait, far behind wealthier nations that can pay full price.
It took us 83 days from the first jab in the UK to the first jab in Africa.
God damn, 83 days? That's like 2 viewings of the Snyder Cut. Look, the world needs to do a better job of getting vaccines to developing nations because don't forget, if you let coronavirus fester in one place for long enough, it's going to mutate and it's going to come back even stronger where you live. It happens all the time. When Ebola first got to Africa, it was just a stubbed toe. And what's especially frustrating about this is that there are so many people in places like America who can get the vaccine and they just don't want it. I feel like what they should do is make an exchange program where Africans get to swap countries with anti-vaxxers. Vax Swap, only on Paramount Plus. Now, while it's true that right now there aren't enough vaccine doses to go around to every country, there actually is a solution to that. Give pharmaceutical companies in developing nations the vaccine recipes and let them make their own. But so far, countries that have those recipes are going full-on Oprah meme.
The United States and other wealthy members of the World Trade Organization have blocked a proposal to waive intellectual property rights related to COVID vaccines. South Africa and India had pushed the proposal as part of an attempt to increase the availability of vaccines in poorer countries.
Both the United States and the European Union want to uphold patents on the basis that they encourage companies to invest in research and innovation.
This drug maker, just a few hours from the Bangladesh capital, produces a lot of different vaccines. But the one it can't yet produce is the most in demand for COVID-19. The manufacturer says it has plenty of spare capacity and it could produce between 600 to 800 million coronavirus vaccines a year if it got a license.
Wait, hold up. The entire planet could get millions more vaccine doses a year if they just waived the patents on the vaccines, but the US and the European Union don't want to? So you're going to tell me that Africa is expected to share our vibranium, but we can't get their vaccines? Well, that's real fair. Now, look, I do understand where drug companies are coming from on this. I mean, if Nani Indira wants a vaccine, then Nani Indira can design and distribute her own vaccine. It's called personal responsibility. And people are saying, this is a global pandemic. Doesn't Nani's life matter more than the share price of Pfizer? All right, fine. Let's compromise then. Pfizer should just give Nani some stock options. That way, everyone who's left alive makes money. But it turns out, not every country in Africa is desperate to get the vaccine. In fact, the country of Tanzania hasn't even been trying to get it, mostly because President John Magufuli claimed that COVID-19 isn't even real, although he might be changing his mind now.
The president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, has died. He was a prominent COVID-19 skeptic and had not been seen in public since the end of February.
In all this government, no one wears a mask, including me. It proves that there is no coronavirus, and God loves this nation.
President Magufuli was more than a coronavirus skeptic. His government stopped sharing data with the World Health Organization last year and declared Tanzania COVID-free through divine intervention. He displayed a disregard for health advice, focusing on prayer and local remedies, while also claiming the vaccines were dangerous.
There were sources within Tanzania that he was very sick with COVID-19. That, of course, is not confirmed. But given all the circumstances at play and the secrecy with which the government did its business, many people are skeptical that, in fact, it was only a heart condition that led to his death.
What have I been telling you guys from the beginning? The biggest risk factor of corona is disrespecting corona. Anytime somebody says, this virus is no big deal, corona's like, okay, it's gonna be like that, huh? Okay, then 2 weeks later, it's fisting your lungs. Who's the hoax now? Huh? This real enough for you? Huh? And look, I know it's easy to shit on the African country with the strongman leader who doesn't believe in science, but please, don't forget, America also had a COVID-denying president who got COVID. The only difference is America had the elite medical teams with experimental drugs to keep its dumb president alive. So, that's what's happening with the vaccine rollouts across the globe. And even though things are going well in the United States, Americans unfortunately do need to pay attention to the world. Because you see, as long as the virus is still out there, it can always come back here. Because no country is an island, except for Iceland and the UK and all the Caribbean countries, I guess. Sorry, but you know what I mean. No country is an island.